Look good, play good. On this week's episode of the Fantasy Ruckers Show, we rank the kits of the 2024 Major League Rugby season. Maddie and myself have a look at what teams are going to look best on the pitch this year. We also have some more details on how everyone can play Fantasy MLR in 2024, and also the latest news and notes from around the league. The Fantasy Ruckers Show starts right now.
Where rugby and the world of fantasy sports collide. Welcome to the Fantasy Ruckers Show, bringing fantasy rugby to the masses, talking all things rugby from the MLR to leagues around the world. We're on top of it. Headphones on, pads off. This is the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Now, here are your hosts, Ryan Yee, Matt Yee, and Devin Vanderpool.
What's up, everybody? This is episode number 92 of the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Thank you so much to our Fantasy Ruckers League members, our community members, and everyone else tagging along on this journey of trying to make fantasy rugby a reality in the MLR with you every single week. Matt Yee, I am Ryan Yee, and Maddie, we had a pretty banger of an episode last week. Had a big announcement and a special guest, but I mean, come on. Talk about, talking to all of our Fantasy Ruckers League members, community members. It's about to get a little bit bigger here with the announcement we had last week.
Yeah, you got that right. It's about to get big here in the MLR fantasy landscape. And we even got to find out a little bit of the, I guess what the kids call tea, of what the happenings was this offseason. So, yeah, it was a big episode last week, and we learned a lot, and we announced a lot.
Yeah, we got a big episode, and we'll have a big episode in this one too. Like we said at the top of the show, it is our not our fantasy, but our kit miss type ranking reveal. We're going to go through every single kit that was released by each and every MLR team. We've ranked them, we put them on a list, and we're going to go through what we think are the best kits coming into 2024.
And for people who have watched our show, they know that I am nothing but critical on the MLR and the teams and the way that they look all season long. So, this will be a good one, and get ready for me to be very critical on some teams and loves what some of the teams are doing.
And if you missed it last week, the special guest that we were talking about was Andrew Coe, newest member of RFCLA, who broke down the wild offseason that he had in the tail end of 2023 with the disbandment of the New York Ironworkers to the dispersal draft to now in 2024, moving on to his brand new team, wearing that, I guess, blue and gold RFCLA, going into a lot of excitement there. So if you missed that out, check out episode 91. You can find that on our YouTube channel and wherever you get podcasts. And referring to that big announcement that we had, it's official now, Maddie. It is up on all over our socials. The Google form is up. If you want to take part in Fantasy MLR in 2024, the avenue is ready for you. You go on to our Google Forms, go onto our X page, go onto our Facebook page, go onto our Instagram. It'll be down below in the description. If you want to take part, you just got to fill out that Google form. Give us a little bit of information in terms of email address, other little tidbits that we'll need to get you in a league. But we're super excited here. We're getting Fantasy MLR to the masses. And this is a big first step that is out there all over our socials.
And you don't even have to be a diehard fan of the MLR. Maybe you just know the MLR, know of the MLR. I mean, this is going to be a league for everybody. And this is going to be a way that you can get involved or even find a way to become a big fan of the MLR.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that we've gotten a lot of traction in terms of people wanting to join it. We had that one guinea pig league with their founding fathers over the past couple seasons, and people were asking, how do I get part of it? How do I get my own team? How do I join a league? Well, this is your chance. Again, go on to @thefantasyruckers, X, Instagram, Facebook. Again, that link will be down below in the description as well. Fill out that form, get your interest noted, and we'll find you a league in this 2024 season.
And I think it's important to point out, I mean, Vandy, who isn't here now, was with us last week for the interview, was a guy who had no idea what rugby was.
It's true.
Had absolutely no clue. Maybe only knew about the All Blacks and the Haka. And
look how far he's come.
And he's now 2 years down the line, has become a big fan, as a diehard Utah Warriors fan, allegedly. And And now he is supporting, he understands the rules. He's able to talk critically about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So just a way for you to learn the sport, get into the sport, and just grow the game in America. Even if you don't know rugby or aren't a fan of rugby or have never watched rugby, don't be scared. Fill out the Google form, meet some new people. If you love fantasy, just get into it. It's the same as if fantasy football, fantasy basketball. It's just another way to kind of watch the game and enjoy the sport.
Yeah, and I mean, we know how big, other fantasy sports, like you mentioned there, Matt, fantasy football, fantasy basketball, all those things, how big those are, fantasy baseball, fantasy MLR. We're hoping it becomes just as big, just as
Yep.
big a part of the game. Yeah, we're hoping to have big things this year, have leagues, have a whole bunch of ways to kind of watch your teams, watch your players. With the expansion of those stats that we had, it's a whole lot of fun. You can reach out to any of our founding members, whether that's Jam Delay, whether that's Rugby Morning,
Yeah.
even Rugby Wrap Up taking part last season, MLR All Access taking part last season.
And don't forget Stephen Lowen.
Stephen Lowen, our longtime member there as well. They've had a lot of fun. So yeah, I couldn't be more excited to get this out to more people and give an opportunity for other people to join Fantasy MLR and experience what it's like to have your own Fantasy MLR team and the way that changes the way you watch the sport. Because you're right, Matt, it completely alters the way that you watch rugby, and you just get so much bought into it when you have something at stake. So a lot of fun. Again, that Google form can be found on any of our social pages at the Fantasy Ruckers, X, Facebook, Instagram. That link to the Google form will be down below in the description as well, whether you're watching on the YouTube video or wherever you get podcasts, you'll be able to click there as well. So one thing I do want to note, though, for people who are interested in joining, couple different things here. If you want to join with people who you already know, there's a spot for you to answer that. You can put people, that are there to make sure that you're in a league that you're wanting to be in with other people that you do know. So that is an opportunity for you. We are looking for commissioners, so we are looking for people who to kind of take the lead on some of these leagues. Again, not that much work is involved. You're just kind of the liaison between myself, I guess the main commissioner, the
Okay, Ryan,
the ultimate
relax.
commissioner. That's how we're going to facilitate those conversations, make sure that all the leagues are running smoothly, and also, of course, because it is an offline draft type system, you'll be responsible for kind of carrying out and facilitating that draft going through. So again, we're looking for people to kind of step up here and join the Fantasy Ruckers team and become that commissioner for respective leagues. And we're looking for leagues to be around 8 to 10 people. So, go out there. If you have 8 people that you know, you're more than welcome to create a league of your own. Just reach out to us through that Google form. Denote one of those people that are in that 8 group of people you know as the commissioner, and we're more than happy to get that all set up for you.
And unlike you, Ryan, those commissioners are allowed to be in the league.
It is true. Commissioners can play. So don't think that, if you're a commissioning league, just like any other fantasy sport, you will have the opportunity to play in that league as well. We just need a representative in that league, that member, to kind of be that liaison between that league and myself. And then last thing here is that Discord is going to be a huge thing. Obviously, it's been a huge part of our community and growing this, but it'll be a huge thing in facilitating Fantasy MLR as well through the Fantasy Ruckers. You'll want to join our Discord channel. It is a mandatory thing. All of our leagues will be facilitated through that. That's how we're going to slot you in your groups. That's how you're going to carry out your drafts, etc., and keep your communication throughout the season. So there is a spot on that Google form to join the Discord, and then also leave us your username so that we can make sure that we identify you correctly. All right. I think that's everything. All the housekeeping stuff out of the way. But I think we're saying it over and over again. We're super excited to get this out to the masses. It's been our goal to make, like we say at every top of every show, Fantasy MLR a reality. And it looks like we're one step closer to doing just that. And hopefully a whole bunch of people are going to be able to enjoy it in 2024.
Ain't that the truth? Let's get into it, right?
Let's get into it. Whole bunch of news and notes that we got to talk about in terms of starting to really solidify what 2024 is going to look like. We talked about a wild offseason that it was. We talked about that with Andrew Coe last week, just about how much there was in flux and the schedule coming out, teams dropping out, the schedule not being official anymore, the different league format, that being pulled because of the dropping of the teams. But now it looks like we kind of have everything settled with the most recent announcement that a team that we've been alluding to, we thought it was going to be Charlotte. It is the Charlotte kind of area, but they went with a different type of name, which I don't know if we agree with. We were predicting Charlotte Hawks, something completely different. Anthem Rugby
No, no,
Carolina is
no,
joining the
no,
MLR
no,
for the
no.
2024 season as the 12th team.
This is so. I mean, it's cool. All right, it's a World Rugby back team. It's supposed to only have guys that are eligible to play for the U.S. It's gonna have all the aspects that we thought, and that was leaked about the Charlotte Hawks having the development players. I know that. I know that Brian Ray has already talked about some guys heading over to that team on loan. Some of the younger guys that maybe aren't getting playing time. But gosh, this,
They can't.
social media
tough.
put it right there for you. It's a development team basically for the Eagles. All right. It makes sense that they're called the Hawks. No, no, no. The MLR has to come on in, just like this RFCLA, the MLR has to come on in, and World Rugby and USA Rugby came together, sat at the table and said, Anthem. We're going to do an anthem. And you know what? This offseason has been the rise and the fall of the A's. I don't know what the MLR has. What do they have with A's, right? Like the arrows, logos, and A, they fall. The RFC Richards, Bell Ends, whatever the heck you want to call them, the LA team, they've got a big ol' A in their little genitalia logo. They rise, and they're new. And now we got this whole stupid Anthem A that's sitting on another jersey in the league. So
I'll say this. I'm not opposed to the name.
Ryan, what are you talking about?
Anthem is quite fine. All right, Anthem is fine.
Anthem in what world?
I mean,
Where?
It has to be different. At least there's no one else in the entire world in any sport that I've heard.
Well, there's a reason why nobody else has the name Anthem, Ryan.
What I have a bigger problem though about is this whole backwards naming thing that the MLR is getting into, right? I mean, we started with RFC LA, which was a weird thing. We went over that with the announcement of that, and we thought it was a weird thing that they were called RFC LA in the first place. And I think it's weird in this one too. I have never seen a place called Anthem Rugby Carolina. Why not just call it like the Carolina Anthem Rugby Club? I feel like that would be a whole lot better. But again, we don't choose the names. We don't get paid the big bucks. What's the MLR batting here when it comes to naming teams? I mean, the Giltinis was a flop. The Gilgronis was a flop. It doesn't sound like people were too impressed with the LA RFC naming coming out. When Rugby Atlanta rebranded before moving to LA, that was a tough one too. And now we got this Anthem name that's pretty tough.
I don't know. I don't know, Ryan. This is, I don't know how you can even be Anthem Rugby Carolina. Like, I'm going to laugh every time the announcers say it. I'm going to laugh every time I see it on the field. I'm sure their jerseys are going to be atrocious. It's just going to go exactly with the name. They haven't released those yet.
Well, what's funny too is that they're like the exact same color as like LA, RFC LA, basically in like the blue and
so
yellow.
they're both,
like, they're really,
they
really
both
close.
look like absolute garbage cans.
So we'll see what the jerseys do come out with. Again, I guess out of default that they kind of go on the bottom of our list in our upcoming rankings for our jersey, just because their jerseys aren't out. But it'll be interesting to see when they do come out where they slot in that mix. But on the positive side of things, Maddie, I will say this is exciting. I mean, again, we kind of emphasized it last episode that we were in dark and grim times when it came to the MLR, when Toronto dropped, when New York dropped, and we were looking like, okay, what is the future of this league looking like? But now with the emergence of, RFC LA, with Miami kind of taking the stranglehold on things here too, and now the addition of the 12th team here, we're right back where we were expecting to be heading into the 2024 season before all this went down. And then on top of that, you put on this kind of support, and we touched on it last episode about how encouraging it is to see now that the 2023 World Cup has passed. The World Rugby is kind of shifting their attention to the next two World Cup cycles, which includes the U.S. They want to make sure that U.S. Rugby is succeeding when 2031 rolls around, and a part of that is going to be Anthem Rugby Carolina, and it's that money that's pulling into this club to develop the young talent of the United States. And it's encouraging to see. We'd like to see the support of World Rugby, and we'd like to see that it's funneling into the MLR, which is only going to allow this league to become more stable after all that turmoil that it experienced in December and November of last year.
Yeah, no, it's good. No, I'm just sorry. I'm just thinking about the fact that people got at a table and they wrote on the whiteboard. They said these are the names that we're going to choose. Charlotte Hawks, Carolina Hawks, literally anything other than Anthem. And they went with the worst possible thing. They went Anthem Rugby Carolina. Oh my goodness. I just don't understand. Anyways, past that, Brian Ray just on this team announced or tweeted out that I guess Ivan Pulu, the young prop, I believe he was drafted 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Cale Hodgson, who we've seen with NOLA. Apparently they're both on the anthem. They're both singing the anthem, I guess, this season. So that's a couple. I mean, Cale Hodgson, I think that's going to be good. I did not expect a guy like Cale Hodgson to be going to this team. But the fact that his type of caliber, MLR caliber talent is going there, I think it's a good sign for the competitiveness of these players that are going to be singing the anthem this season.
Yeah. I think you've just are you maybe they need to hire you as their marketing team, Maddie. I think
no, they would never make it past if they hired me as a marketing team.
But yeah, no, that is encouraging to see. And again, we were kind of questioning where the talent level is going to be with this side when they go up against some of these other MLR clubs. It'll be interesting to see, but to see some of those bigger names on there, like Cale Hodgson, is encouraging moving forward here. Again, we'll see where this kind of team kind of lies in all of that. But again, maybe not the name, but encouraging to see the backing that this is getting, and MLR is right back in a pretty solid spot. I would believe here.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of teams get announced. Hopefully this. I just got a glimpse of their logo, and it's so stupid.
You're not over it. Do you want to keep on going?
No, I can't. I'm done now. It just looks so. And then they throw it up on the schedule too, and it's just gross. But hopefully they come out with a nice little roster. I know a lot of the teams that come out. I think NOLA, San Diego, LA, New England, a bunch of teams that come out with their full roster. Hopefully we get to see this and it's not kind of shady until the start of the season, just with how late that it's all happening.
And it'll be interesting to see how this team kind of operates in the ethos of roster moves across the MLR. You know, obviously they're going to be restricted to kind of developing USA talent. How do they acquire players? How are they able to, you know, where are they going to get that? Is that I know there was like a lot of loan conversations and things like that. It's just going to be interesting to see how they fill out that 23-man roster on their squad. So should be interesting going forward. Kind of shifting that conversation to now that we have our full 12 teams, we do have an official schedule that's out too, and we got some big time matches in that week 1 lineup, which is pretty cool. The Anthem, I don't know how
they're gonna get spanked.
I don't know how the New England Free Jacks scored
they're gonna get
week
spanked.
1 in terms of a tune-up game to start off the season, coming off of their MLR Shield in 2023. But they're facing the Anthem first, and talking about wake-up call, that is going to be a big wake-up call for the Anthem.
I mean,
in terms of facing the defending MLR champions.
Yeah, welcome to the MLR. I mean, it's unfortunate they couldn't put a New England Free Jack versus San Diego Legion to start off the season. I think that would have been an absolute ripper of a game, but hey, it is what it is. At least they get to play this Anthem team, who I guess is defending the country or something, or the Constitution maybe. But yeah, it'll be good. I think they're going to get spanked, though.
Yeah, I agree. But the biggest one on that list there in that week 1 matchup, San Diego, Seattle. That one's going to be a big one. Seattle's looking pretty good. The rematch of that semifinal last year, heading into that MLR championship. That one's going to be an exciting one. Obviously, San Diego looking to return to full form. Seattle being the stud franchise that they are every single season. That's going to be a West Coast battle to see.
Yeah, I think some big things about the schedule, and we talked about this last year a lot during the season of like bye weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Like bye weeks in fantasy. For those of you who have played fantasy football, we know that bye weeks are a big thing. Any sport that is a weekly type thing, any bye weeks is always something that throws a wrench in the mix. And we see that what's back, Ryan, is the 4 teams on bye in 1 week.
Yep.
So those
I
are going to be
already
interesting weeks.
Already looking ahead, you look at week 5. Week 5, only 8 teams are playing, so 4 teams going to be on bye. Talk about the scramble to the waiver wire to get a starting fly half in that week, or starting
Yeah.
scrum half in that one, or even getting a kicker into your lineup. I will say, outside of that week 5, that is the only week that appears to be the week that has only 8 teams
Well,
playing.
did they not shrink the season here? The season has been reduced like 3 weeks. No.
Yeah, yes.
Did we miss that somewhere?
They said 42 days, but I guess, that's something that's they just kind of snuck by us, I guess.
So yeah, it's reduced. So by the way, if you didn't notice, the season's reduced by 3 weeks. I just realized that myself. I was just assuming that it was going to be the same as last year.
That's actually a huge deal.
But they threw it in there.
They did.
So that's cool. I mean, or they missed a whole picture.
That could be a thing
I don't
too.
think they missed the whole picture. I think they just shortened the season. But I've seen worse from the MLR.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that, because that's because there were 17 weeks last year.
There was definitely a lot more weeks. That's for sure. All right. Well, that's good. No. It's good that we know this now. But anyways, back to the whole thing. There's 1 week. I mean, at least this means the silver lining is that there's only 1 week of 4 teams on bye. That one's going to be ones that fantasy managers are going to look out for.
No,
but it's good that it's good that we can look at this schedule now. Hopefully there's no more changes.
Yeah.
But for fantasy managers, I think it's going to be something in the back of your mind during your draft to understand that you're not picking too many guys up that have the same that have the same bye week. Like that might get difficult. It's not the main thing that you're going to look to draft for, and not the main thing that should influence your decision, but may be somewhat of a deal breaker between 2 players that you have ranked in the same or similar categories.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you have a slam dunk pick coming up in your draft, and it just happens that they have the same bye week as another one of your stud players, I would not make that be the deciding factor.
No.
Like, you still prioritize getting that player. You'll make it through, whether that's through waiver or whether that's through trades or whatever throughout the year. You're gonna find that player to replace that bye week player. No, it appears, Matt. I think I'm just looking and I don't know if the website is updated. I think they honestly just missed the picture.
All right. Yeah. So I saw the website too. It looks like it is updated because RFCLA is there.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Anthem is there.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
Yeah, there's 18 weeks. There's 18 weeks for sure.
Awesome. All right. So we fact checked the MLR. I'm surprised X didn't do that themselves.
That's crazy. On their Twitter.
Ryan, I'm not doing the math. 42 days until the season, Ryan. It's not 42 days of playing.
No, I know. I get that. But I'm just saying that the fact that their team did not even catch that they missed the entire picture on their kind of schedule announcement. That's pretty.
Also, can we just quickly 42 days fam? When was that the fan base that MLR was trying to reach out to?
Yeah.
When were we saying when did the MLR start saying fam? Who is this admin and when did he?
They're young.
Start using this vocabulary.
They're young. All right. Well, let's go.
Anyways, we're missing a whole picture here.
We are missing a whole picture.
PSA: the MLR is missing a whole picture in the schedule. Go look on the website for the full schedule, because don't trust anything that the MLR. I'm kidding. You should trust them, but they just clearly mess up a lot. Like a lot. Like sometimes it's just off, but it's fine.
That's fine, why people. We do not go onto the USMLR page at all. That's why we trust James Dealey and his.
That's why we trust
MLR stats.
I said this 2 weeks ago. This league is run on its insiders. It's run by Brian Ray. It's run by James. It's run by Doug Coyle. All right. All these insiders run this league, and the MLR doesn't even know it.
All right. Well, let's move on here. We spent enough time on the Anthem and the schedule on X that is missing.
Right. Before we get into the signings.
Yeah.
Before we get into the signings, I just want to throw some quick non-MLR news before we get into the players. I know everybody's been talking about it. Louis Rees-Zammit
Yes.
and Harry Malander are both going into that NFL pathway. Harry Malander, both going into the NFL pathway. Big news. I love to see it. Rugby players coming to the U.S. Maybe if it doesn't work out,
They're in the MLR.
they just go into the MLR.
Maybe that's what we needed to figure out. Maybe MLR needs to be added to the NFL pathway for all the people who don't make it to the NFL. Hey,
yes,
here's a streamlined pathway right back into playing some rugby. You can do it.
Let's
to the
go.
MLR.
I like that.
I think we figured that out.
I like that.
No,
I just wanted to throw that out. That was a big thing.
That is big news because often, obviously, we've seen the handful of MLR players that have transitioned from football or have transitioned from another sport to play MLR. It is cool to see. Or interesting to see. I know it was kind of getting mixed reviews online in terms of I think a lot of people were shocked about this because these are marquee names in the world rugby landscape.
Well, Louis Rees-Zammit for sure.
Right.
Harry Malander, he's definitely played for England, but Louis Rees-Zammit was like kind of the star of Wales at one point.
And it would be cool to see them on an NFL team. Obviously they have a dream there to go play because these
Louis
guys.
Rees-Zammit, bold, going running back or wide receiver.
He's too tall for running back.
Yeah, but
wide receiver would be good. Yeah,
bold. Yeah.
Right.
Anyways,
we'll see. All right, well, let's shift on over to some MLR roster moves that are happening around the league. The biggest kind of active team that has been kind of dishing out a lot of social media stuff right now has been RFC LA. They've already announced, and we talked about it on a past episode, of their full roster. They're just kind of making it official with a lot of their guys. That comes down to like Will Leonard, Seth Purdy, a whole bunch of guys coming down on that list. So you can check out the official announcement by RFC LA on a bunch of their players. But again, they've released their roster and it's been out there for quite a while there. So a lot of these names are expected. Let's get into kind of the Utah Warriors because the Utah Warriors, I feel like, were a very, very busy team over the course of the past week. And I think the biggest signing that they had was Robbie Povey. Robbie Povey was the guy that they drafted in that dispersal draft. It's taken a little bit to get the official announcement, but Canada capped fly half Robbie Povey, who was originally on the Arrows before they folded, is joining the Utah Warriors, and he earned 4 caps for the Warriors in 2020. He went on, and he's obviously was a marquee name for the Houston SaberCats. Was going to play for the Arrows after that big time trade, but then obviously with the folding through the dispersal draft, finds himself in a new home and is back on Utah. A guy that is pretty fantasy relevant when he gets the playing time.
Yeah, I mean, look, he slotted in for Davey Coates when he was hurt last year, and he did really well. I think he showed that clearly he can perform in the MLR, and it'll be really interesting to see how he slots in behind Joel Hodgson. So, I mean, he'll be fantasy relevant if Joel Hodgson goes down, but outside of that, I think it'll just be, pick him up on some flyers if they decide to rest Joel Hodgson 1 week. And that like he's got the capability to be able to slot in and still perform.
Yeah, only 48.8 fantasy points in 2023, but a majority of that coming on those 2 starts that he did have for Houston when he did step in for Davey Coates, who was injured during that time in round 15, 16, scoring 24.7 fantasy points in round 15, 15.2 in round 16. Yeah, he had 2 try-assists in that big-time round 15 performance, along with 5 conversion kicks. So he has the potential when he gets the playing time. But that fly half room is just so backlogged, obviously, with Joel Hodgson there. He'll slot in behind him there. For me, honestly, he's more of a handcuff. You've talked about handcuffs in the past, Matt, about kind of just picking up guy. If I'm the Joel Hodgson owner, I'm really, really gunning to make sure I try to get Robbie Povey as well, because then having that high-powered Houston SaberCats line that we've seen them have those explosive performances, whoever that starting fly half is, you're going to have that locked in for the 2024 year.
Yeah, you mean the Utah Warriors.
Or sorry, yes, the Utah Warriors. Sorry.
Yeah.
Having him and Joel Hodgson, absolutely. And then shifting on to some other moves, they did a trade with the New England Free Jacks, getting the playing rights of Kira McLeod, who they ended up signing for Utah, giving up a 2nd-round pick in the 2024 collegiate draft and cap considerations.
Okay.
That seems to be the obvious thing here. Again, Kieran McLeod joins a room that includes, a handful of names, including, let me just pull up here, Logan Crowley, Zion Going, Ty Cowie, Sam Reimer. So McLean has the opportunity here. Logan
Yeah.
Crowley obviously going to be, I think, the biggest name for that and going in that, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Kieran McLean is a US MLR vet. But he's been behind John Pullen all this time. So it's nice to see that he could potentially be a starter in this league. And honestly, every time that he's come in and started for John Pullen, he has, for the most part, performed. So it'll be interesting. If he's a starter for Utah and you see him being a starter moving forward, it could be an interesting little pickup. But that uncertainty of whether he or Logan Crowley is going to start, they obviously spent an international space for Logan Crowley as well. I believe Kieran McLean is also international. So having both, we'll see which way they go with it, and that'll be really interesting for fantasy managers.
Yeah, there's going to be some value there. I don't think the Utah Warriors scrum half room is going to be one that's going to be people are going to be gunning for in this fantasy season. But
if you need
we'll
one,
see.
everybody needs one.
That is true. And then another signing that was quite surprising. The Utah Warriors have signed hooker Tyler Wong to their squad. He was obviously notable because he went first overall in the dispersal draft to the Miami Sharks.
Unreal.
Miami Sharks not locking it down, I guess. Tyler wanting to go to Utah instead. So he signs there. And the former Arrow, the Rugby Canada capped hooker, heads to Utah.
Yeah, not much fantasy relevance here. He's going to be behind Sushan and Vugakota basically all season. I don't think we'll see him much this year.
Yeah. And then just some other signings, a trade happening between the Utah Warriors and the Chicago Hounds. Sam Fogali going over to the Hounds for salary cap considerations. Don't know if there's anything to be said there, Maddie. Sydney Shoop, scrum half, re-signing with the Chicago Hounds, along with Ethan Parkins, who's a U.S. eligible flanker, signing for the Hounds as well, having made some Premiership Rugby Cup appearances with the Worcester Warriors or Worcester Warriors.
Nope.
Worcester.
I think Worcester's right.
Okay.
I'm no English. I'm no English expert, but I'm pretty sure Worcester's right. The other one, Ryan. I don't know if you're getting into some other ones, but I did want to call out before we moved on from Utah. They did sign Isaiah Crusay. So the reuniting of brothers. I think on the team. That'll be interesting. Hopefully they get to go in the field at the same time. I think that'll be really fun to see.
That'd be cool. Sam Tuifo. That was bad. Sam Tuifua. How do you say it?
I'm not going to say it.
Why? I'm always the one that gets all the flack on this because I'm always the one that gives her 100%. And I always
look. That's just part of the job that you live, right? You got to do it. That's your role. It's in your description. Well, and sometimes you get it right. A lot of time you don't.
The 21-year-old back row from Counties Rugby is signing with the Dallas Jackals. Franco Paillo. 27.
It sounds right, Ryan.
27. You just got to own it, right? If you just own it and don't point to it, then you're fine. The Argentinian is going to the Dallas Jackals as well. The hooker played with the American Raptors last season. And then just a couple of other re-signings. Dakota Worth, flanker, returning to Old Glory DC, and Rob.
Old Glory DC. A lot of OG fans of OG DC really love that Dakota Worth. We're signing. He's a vet of OGDC. I believe he's returning.
Yeah. Played with Chicago last year.
Yeah.
22.5 fantasy points. Not really fantasy relevant, but we'll see whether or not he turns out.
I think he'll just add that veteran presence. He won't be fantasy relevant.
And then Rob Cobb, former All Blacks U20 prop. Rob Cobb going back to the Houston SaberCats. He started 14 regular season games. Returns for a second season and the MLR. Rob Cobb back with the Cats.
Yeah, that'll be kind of a nice retention for them. I think he'll definitely be potentially be on some radars of some of the fantasy managers, but
a low end front row player. He gets the minutes. He'll get you 3 points a week. He won't kill you. That's kind of what you're looking for as a mid tier.
Yeah, I mean, if you're desperate, I think there's definitely going to be a lot of guys ahead of him, but it's nice to see him back in the league.
All right. Well, another busy week of signings. I'm sure that's gonna kind of tone down and all these announcements as we get closer to the
Yeah.
season. But nonetheless, we're starting to solidify some rosters here now that we have our teams all solidified. Should be exciting to see where you're gonna start marking down some of these names that should be on fantasy MLR list. But I think again, the big one out of all these, a lot of LA RFC LA names that are there to keep an eye on that came out through their roster, obviously. And then I think the big one this week was the Robbie Povey thing, more of a handcuff thing, but no one
Yeah.
crazy fantasy relevant getting moved this week. Again, a lot of those players have already found homes. You can check out our review of each of the rosters from 2 episodes ago, where we really dive into the fantasy impact that some of these guys are going to have.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a little fun here, Maddie. Let's get
Oh
into
boy.
some jersey rankings. We love kit. You know,
We
you
do?
obviously all the jerseys behind me. I love collecting different types of jerseys. Going through the different jerseys of this upcoming 2024 MLR season was interesting. With the new sponsor Kappa coming
Yeah.
through, and I think overall we had our initial reaction last episode. I think we're pretty happy with what Kappa did.
Well,
But
yep.
certain teams doing better than other teams in their kits for this episode.
Ain't that the truth?
So
Ain't that the truth?
let's get in it. So the way we worked out these kit rankings is that Matt, myself, and Vandy, yes, Vandy,
Even Vandy.
we all took a look at these, took a closer look at these jerseys and kits, both away and home, and ranked them from 1 to 11, 12 now with Anthem, but they don't have their jerseys out, so
They're last because they suck. Their name's stupid and their jerseys are going to be even worse.
So we're going to start from the bottom of the list and move up, and we averaged out our 3 scores and put the team that we had at and based them on those average rankings. So let's get into the number 11th team right now, and that is going to be, no surprise, RFC LA coming in there. Vandy actually was pretty high on this this team's kit
Because he has a stupid taste.
relatively. He had them ranked at 7. You and I, Matt, both had them ranked, I believe, at the 11th spot.
Yeah, look,
So yeah,
last
not,
week
nothing
we-
special.
Yeah, last week we had Co on. I asked him about the jerseys. I asked him how it feels to have genitalia on his chest for all 18, 17 weeks of the year. And, you know, he said he was happy with it. He said he liked the colors. But look, I don't know, it's waves on a shirt. Like sick. Like you put blue waves on a shirt and you added some yellow on the sleeves. Like, I don't know how else to better explain it. Like, you had all this time to come up. You knew you apparently knew you were going to be a team, and you said, "Yeah, we're gonna have hues of blue and yellow to embrace LA's vibrant culture, dude, rooted in the sea and the sun, and then we're gonna tribute to the LA coastal vibes." Sick, way to go, you did it.
Well, 11th spot for us. Yeah, nothing quite impressive here. I mean, Co seemed to like it last episode, but I mean, again,
Could have done so much better.
they're waves on a shirt, and again,
Giltini's had a martini glass on their shirt, and they beat you.
Yeah,
They had a dang martini glass
that's true.
just right there, and they were better. Jeez.
All right. Well, let's move on here.
Sucks.
I know.
Jersey
I think
sucks.
I'm going to give you an aneurysm, Matt, if we keep talking about the Anthem and RFC LA. So let's move on to the 10th ranked team, and that is the San Diego Legion. I think the big one off of this
This
one,
is a fall from grace, Rye.
this is a fall from grace because we were very, very high. They had the one with the Spartan on the side,
Last year was
right?
dope.
It was a
Kings and
sick
convicts.
jersey.
They had the cool sponsor.
It was
They
cool.
had the.
Vandy had San Diego ranked pretty high as well at
What a
number
loser.
at number 4. Matt, you and I had San Diego ranked. You had San Diego ranked 10th. I had them ranked 11th. It all comes down to this. I'm really just not a big camo guy. You know, like I know they're embracing the whole San Diego thing with their connection with the military and everything like that. So it's hard to kind of go against this. But I just don't like camo, and it doesn't look any better on a rugby jersey.
I think Jam Delay said it the best, and he said this has to be their training kit, right? This isn't their real jersey.
Right.
And I mean, it looks cool for a training kit. I do actually like the boxed out numbers on the back.
I do.
I actually am a fan of that. But it just, for me, what gets it is, yes, the camo, Ryan. I think it's kind of, you know, I love the support for the military, but I think it's kind of It's kind of tacky when
Yeah.
you throw it on a jersey. And then they throw like a random Legion logo on the shoulder, like a random point towards a Legionnaire on
Yeah.
the shoulder. It's like that has nothing to do with the rest of the jersey.
Sure.
Like you just did that to hopefully throw a little hint of Legionnaire on there, and I think it was just lazy and not well done. So unfortunately, San Diego I think drops from like 1 to basically last because the other 2 teams don't count.
I will say, if I had to compare the two, I do like the white aways a little bit better.
Yep.
I just like the black cutout sleeves and the Legionnaire being a little bit more distinct
Yeah.
on that. It looks kind
Now,
of cool on there, but yeah, just not a fan of the camo.
see, now I'm going to be excited for their city jerseys.
Hmm.
So we'll see what that's all about because this is obviously their military series. Hopefully their city jerseys come out strong with this.
All right. Well, coming in at the next number here, coming in at number 9, is the NOLA Gold. The NOLA Gold coming in at number 9. I had them ranked at the 8th spot. Matt, you had them ranked at the 8th spot. Vandy had them ranked at the 9th spot. So just kind of a lower
ruining
lower
the
end
averages.
here. Ruined the averages a little there, but I think they just haven't changed. I mean, it's nothing special. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah.
It's original. It's what NOLA has always been. If I had to choose between the two, I like the kind of the Harlequin type look of the collar. You know, I love my collar.
Yeah, I know.
Collar
You
jerseys
love those
of
stupid
their
collars.
away ones there. But again, there's nothing special. It's been the same. I will say I do like the tri-colored kappa on the side of those away ones, which is pretty a nice little touch as well. But yeah, I mean, just
I did like that
special.
too. For me, right, you know, it's at 9. It's not like you said, it's nothing special. I had him at 8 above Utah, which we'll get to where Utah is next. But I think Vandy might have skewed that a little bit. But I just, you know, the fact that they're the same, I don't think we can complain about that. They're building a brand. You see that jersey, you see Utah. For San Diego, you know, you see a jersey and you don't know what it is. You don't know what it's going to be because it is just, they've changed it every year. But for NOLA Gold, you see the iconic 4 quarters, the gold and the white. You see the iconic Mardi Gras. This is going to be their legacy. And I hope that they continue with this theme because I want to be able to look at the field and know exactly who I'm looking at and what team is playing.
You know what? You're right. I think you might have convinced me that NOLA needs to be a little bit higher on this list because again, they are creating a brand here, and they have been iconic and a big part of the MLR, and this is exactly what it is. So, very very interesting there. Well, coming in at number 8 is the Utah Warriors, which you just mentioned.
This is all of Vandy's fault.
Yeah,
Vandy probably put them at what, 1?
No, Vandy ended up putting Utah at 5.
That's a joke.
Which is, yeah, I agree. Matt, you and I had Utah. You had Utah at 9. I had Utah at 9. Again, I think NOLA deserves to be above.
Yes.
Utah here, but obviously because of Matt, Vandy's not skewed, very skewed ranking of his favorite team. It's on there. Again, it's kind of the same sentiment above of the NOLA. They haven't changed much. But
they haven't. You're right.
I just don't like the gray. I don't like the gray away jerseys. Yeah. I wish they would have went white.
White would have been cool.
I think
cool. Last year their whites looked dirty.
Yeah.
They looked real nice.
I liked Utah's kit better last year. For sure.
Yeah, that is true.
For sure.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit hypocritical of me to say, but I know they had the same jersey and they've had this jersey for a long time, but I wish they changed it this year. There's nothing to me, like, I think they could do so much with the namesake.
Mm-hmm.
They could do so much with even the city of Utah. Like, just the idea of what it looks like when you watch them play at Zion Bank Stadium.
It's true.
They could have done so much with it once you see what some of these other teams have done with their jerseys. Even adding, like, keeping the same 4 lines, but then adding something instead of just the gray stripes. Or the kind of different shade stripes. I think they could have done something, an ode to Utah, an ode to the views
mountains.
of Utah, an ode to even like a warrior, or their logo, or like where
I think they have one.
The
they have one of the
logos from.
They have one of the coolest logos in the league.
They do,
Hands
but
down.
I think they could have done more here. I think I think they could have started here building that legacy of, yes, these 4 stripes are what we represent, and these 4 stripes will remain on our jersey, kind of like the 3 stripes of Adidas. But what goes around it can change, and I think they could have done more.
Yeah. Again,
I'm with you. The gray sucks. They should have done white.
Yeah, they should have done white. All right. Well, coming in at number 7 now is the Chicago Hounds, and this is kind of the
This is Vandy's fault.
Sentiment here. This is Vandy's fault because Vandy had Chicago ranked at 10. You and I, Maddie, you had Chicago ranked at 5. I had Chicago ranked at 6. I really like these jerseys, honestly. I was trying to figure out a way to get Chicago higher, but it's just a little bit, I guess, very traditional. But I guess with the Hounds, that's what you were kind of looking for. I love their home kit with the kind of the green stripes, the white there. Again, you get me at the collar. You put a collar on your jersey, you're automatic in the top half of the league. I love the trim that is on there on those on the sleeves and the shorts as well. They did simple really, really well, and that's why they were high on my list. I don't know why Vandy had him at the bottom. We need to get him back on the show to talk about it, but this kit should be higher on this list.
I think, you know, for these it's easy, and I kind of had a struggle with these because I was ranking them starting low, and then I brought them up because I said, look, why am I taking the points off of these guys just because they went with something classic? Yeah. You know, they went with the classic all green. They went with the classic stripes. And I hope they stick with this for their entire existence as a club, because I want to see these green stripes and I want to see that green jersey, the only fully green jersey in the league, by the way.
Yep.
And be able to say that is the Irish backed Chicago Hounds with Irish traditions, with Rob Kearney playing on that team.
And I love the 6-sided stars on the sleeves.
The houndstooth, whatever stuff on the side.
The houndstooth on the sleeves and the font. The font too is really, really, really
cool. I'm a fan. There's nothing special about it. It's just classic, and I think it represents kind of who the Chicago Hounds are. Well, hopefully they're better this year, but yeah, I think it's just classic, and that's why I had them up there.
All right, coming in at number 6 is the New England Free Jacks. This was a little bit of a shocker for me because I've always been a very, very big fan of the New England Free Jacks. Collar aside,
just the collar, Ryan.
I love the navy blue, red, and white look. And what really did it for me, and again, I had them ranked at 7. You had them ranked at 7 as well. And Vandy had them, I believe, ranked a little bit higher at 6.
What a dummy.
I love the home. The home jersey is a knockout of the park.
That's a classic. They should never change that jersey.
Why does the away one look weird?
I don't understand.
It looks weird to me.
Why did they just stop the stripes? What happened? Did they just run out of ink? Did they run out of blue and white ink as they went up the belly and they said, "Oh, this is it. That's all we got."
From the sponsors to the dude wipes on the bum, the kits have always been, of the Free Jacks, has always been at the top of the list for me when it comes to MLR jerseys. And it would have been on the top of my list once again, at least in the top tier of it.
I figured out why.
If they just didn't stop the stripes on their away jersey.
Actually, I don't know why. I don't know. I was gonna say because they didn't want to clash with the sponsor, with the white stripe.
They did that
with the sponsor.
Yeah.
I don't know. The away is what got me too. I just look at that thing and it's so ugly compared to the home.
Right.
It's just so ugly. Like the home jersey is, they stopped. They literally said, you have to pay for more stripes, and they didn't have any more funds.
They put too many on their home.
They needed to get the premium subscription, and all they had was just the basic.
It's true. So I don't know what happened there. But that's why the Free Jacks kind of slipped on my list, at least. And I'm sure that's the same sentiment for Vandy. Like this is ranked higher than Chicago because of Vandy's stupid 10th ranking. But I think Chicago's jersey is way better than this.
I think they both are the same classic jerseys, but New England Free Jacks messed up on the away. That's what happened. They could have went in all red and oh my gosh. Can you imagine an all-white New England Free Jacks away jersey?
That'd be pretty cool. I'm pretty sure they've had that in the past.
They have. All white with just blue and reds. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Potential
that,
there.
yeah. I mean, they messed up with the away. The home, I think they should never change it.
Home. I think is one of the best home jerseys
The
in
home
all the
jersey,
leagues. I love that jersey.
they should never change what they're doing with
I
that
agree.
one.
All right.
That is their image.
Shifting on over now, going up the list. We're going up to number 5, and number 5 on our list is Old Glory DC. Vandy again, hurting the rankings here.
What is wrong with this guy?
Vandy ranked them at 8th. Matt, you and I think are pretty high on these Old Glory DC jerseys. Both of us having it at number 4. You look at it at first, and you're like, okay, there's nothing really special about this jersey. And then you look at it a little bit closer and you're like, wait, there's a whole bunch special with this jersey. You look at their homes first. I mean, you have the Capitol Rotunda kind of outline in there. The perfect kind of, it goes from around the logo and kind of bursts out. You have the 2 red Kappas and the 1 white and with the sponsor. It just all works perfect. The collar looks great. The sleeve trim looks great. The font is fantastic. And then you look at the away jerseys and you have the columns of the Lincoln Memorial jerseys. The trim looks great on the sleeves. Old Glory DC knocked it out of the park here, I think.
I think this should be what they stick with for time. I mean, I'm excited to see what this looks like in person and or on TV. Because I think it just looks great in these images. The way that they have, and a lot of teams are taking advantage of these kind of background art, some better than others. Like, for example, LA sucked with it, but Old Glory DC has done really well with this. They have made an effort to kind of make an ode to the city that they're from. And yeah, it is just, it's awesome. I mean, I love the way that it looks, and I'm excited to see the way that it looks on TV.
And again, if I had to predict, right, and this is why it's a little bit lower on my list, and it didn't hit that top tier, is because I don't think you're going to be able to recognize it that much on the field, right?
Yeah.
I think, like, up close and personal, I think it looks fantastic, and the idea is there, the integration. I love when teams integrate, kind of what you were alluding to with the Utah jersey, when they integrate a part of the city's culture into what makes
not just lazily.
Right. And they did it perfectly here. I just don't think you're going to be able to see much of it, but that shouldn't take away from the from the idea here. And
look, we can't make rankings on the assumption of what it's going to look like. We just have what's in front of us, and on these graphics, on these designs, it looks dope.
All right. Well, let's shift on over now to our top 3 rankings for these jerseys, and coming in at number 3, knocking it out of the park, I think. At least for definitely one of them. The Miami Sharks coming in at number 3. Vandy had them ranked in at number 1. He loves these jerseys. I had him at 5. Matt, you had it at 6. I personally I would take the Old Glory DC jerseys over these ones.
Yeah.
But it's kind of that 2-tier thing where those away jerseys look spicy. I love those away jerseys. I mean,
we know you love the Miami Vice.
I love the Miami Vice colors. It's great. The Wynwood Art District kind of design down the middle there, a little bit coming up the back. I would have liked to see it down kind of the shoulders a little bit to continue the stripe, but that black, pink, baby blue contrast is just beautiful. I don't really know about the home ones. They're kind of like almost, Matt, I was surprised that maybe you were into kind of a gradient. They kind of went gradient here a little bit, but it's supposed to represent the sunset over the
I was going to say, Ryan, they didn't go gradient. This is a sunset, okay? This is a stunning pink sunset that goes over the beaches of Miami. Can't you see it? Can't you see it in the stunning pinkness of the sunset in the jersey?
Now that
this home jersey is so dumb. This home jersey sucks. I don't know what's worse is the LA tribal waves or whatever, the tribute to the coastal waves or the sunset over the beaches of Miami. In what world does this represent a sunset? Who'd you get to draw this? Like a 3-year-old?
That's true.
3-year-olds can't even look out the windowsill to see the sunset. Like, why are you asking them to draw it? But this home one is pretty dumb. The away one is cooler. I put them lower just because the home jersey.
I agree.
And also, I mean, I wasn't gonna get sucked into the Miami Vice thing just because they had pink and black and baby blue. It does look dope, but like I don't know how I feel about it running a strip through the middle. I don't know. Maybe they could have done it another way. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so that's sorry, not the top three. That came in that number 4.
Jeez, Ryan, learn to count.
Sorry, I have a hard time counting backwards. All right. Well, going into number 3 now, the Dallas Jackals. The Dallas Jackals.
So dope.
These are sick.
These are
And
so
and
dope.
you throw it on our screen there. The color scheme is fantastic. They stick with what they've had. I gotta give props to a team that just decided to go different. They just decided to embrace something different. The star of Texas, obviously a big part of the Dallas culture. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys being, they're the iconic blue star, but they just did this perfectly. It could have gone wrong in so many different ways, but they just did it perfectly. And these jerseys are just the perfect amount of different. It looks great. I think it's going to look sweet on the field. I love what the Dallas Jackals did here.
Ryan, I looked at this and the first thing that I thought was these classic Dallas Stars jerseys in the NHL.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, these things are just so well done. I love how the star outline kind of continues in the back on both jerseys in a faint, like not too prominent way. I love the tribute to the I mean, when you think of the Lone Star State, right? Like Dallas just says like, yep, this is our state. Like Houston, get out of the way. We are going to be Texas's team and we're going to represent Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately for Texas, but like, but yeah, these jerseys are dope. And yeah, I've got nothing else to say other than they're sweet.
All of us had them ranked in at the 3 spot there. I think we're just really high on these Dallas Jackals jerseys. Yeah. I think it looks awesome there. And I think there's really not much else to be said. They did it perfectly. They did different perfectly. All right, coming in at number 2, kind of a mashup of basically everything that looks great for me at least. The Houston SaberCats coming in at number 2 for me.
Dumb. There's no way they should be number 2.
They're number 1.
Who did it? Who caused this? Who caused this? Ryan, where'd you rank them?
I ranked it 2.
You suck. All right, where'd Randy rank them?
Ranked him 2.
You guys suck.
And you had him ranked number 1.
You guys stink. You guys stink so much.
Okay.
What do you not like about it?
There's not. It's the second best jersey to me.
Well, you clearly don't like something about it.
There's just one jersey that's a little bit better. But I think for me, what it comes down to is that
they had collars, Ryan.
I know they have collars.
Seattle doesn't even have collars.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. You're right. These have collars, and I love it about them. The cat print is great. It's different. I'm not a huge cat print guy, but it's great.
Ryan, they're the SaberCats. What do you want from them?
I know. I'm sure Stephen Lowen is super pumped.
He loves them. He's tweeted about them. He loves them.
They're great. I can't bash them. They're just it's between a rock and a hard place. I mean, these are great jerseys.
Ryan.
What?
These things are so good. They're so good. They're so clean. You take a look at them. They're classic jerseys. They look like they're classic black and yellow jerseys.
Yeah.
Right. They're just nice with the collar, just like you like them. All right. And then you take a closer look and there's SaberCats running around the field. Oh, these things are so sexy. They just have the perfect level of print on it. It's not too bold, right? It's not too much.
It's true.
It's just a perfect level of print. And it speaks to the team that they are. There's a reason for it. It's not just thrown in there, right? They didn't just draw lines on a jersey.
Yeah.
They were intentional about it. All right. And it represents the SaberCats exactly like they need to be. And they just look good. I have nothing else to say, but it's
I think my favorite part about their jersey description on MLR's Twitter is
what about it?
When they have the line that goes to the collar and it just says collar, classic element of the rugby jersey.
Yeah. They should have just wrote collar, classic element to get to Ryan's heart.
Yeah, no kidding. But you're right. I mean, these jerseys are fantastic. These jerseys are and you know what? I'm thinking about it now. What maybe
Nope.
the difference is?
You can't change.
I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. I think
Well,
I
then you
just
suck.
like. I think. I think I just like Seattle's color scheme, and that's not Houston's fault. That's not Houston's fault.
Oh, it's your
I
fault.
just like Seattle's color scheme a little bit more. But again, Houston coming in at 2. Matt, you had him ranked at 1. Vandy and I both have him ranked at 2.
That's
Let's
both
talk about the
stink.
number 1 overall.
I stink
Vandy
so
had
much.
him ranked at
Put
2.
a collar just for you.
I had him ranked at 1. Matt, you had him ranked at 2. So I'm just doing the math there. They might have been tied for first.
Whatever. I don't want to talk
Doesn't
about it.
matter.
Houston should have been first.
Seattle Seawolves coming in at the number 1 spot. I think these jerseys are great. There's no collar.
Yeah.
But-
So are they really great to you, Ryan?
They are great. They are great. All right. I've always loved the color scheme. I love the idea that all Seattle sports have the same exact color. The green on their home jerseys is just the perfect amount of green. It's different. It's kind of stupid, to be honest, what they're looking at in terms of the sound waves that travel through the ocean.
Well, Ryan,
Like-
Ryan, those
but
are
it-
sound waves you're talking about.
It looks cool though. It looks
That's at least 90 decibels.
It looks really cool. The orchid teeth on the trim is pretty sweet as well. And then you don't like them.
I mean, I like them on the shorts. I like them on the arms.
The collar's kind of weird.
The collar on the neck makes you look like you're wearing a leather spike necklace or a choker.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird. So honestly, that's one of the things that why I had them at number 2.
All right, and I love the away ones.
The away one's sick.
The away ones are sweet. I think when you look at it, it
The
looks
away
maybe
one's
a
so
little
cool.
bit cheesy with the
No.
trees and the
No.
thing. But I think on the field, it's gonna look fantastic. I love all
Look.
white kits. It has that kind of camo feel, but it's not camo. And then the trees, the green trees, it's great.
You know how to do landscape well? You look at this jersey, all right? You know how to do landscape and city like architecture poorly? You look at the Rugby New York Ironworkers jersey with the stupid Brooklyn Bridge on the side. This is how you do it. I mean, everything looks incorporated into the jersey well.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't know those were trees, the jersey still looks cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
True.
the way that they just used it, and then you can clearly see the mountain. Again, this is another one where you would hope to kind of see how the mountain looks in person, but this away jersey is awesome. The home jersey, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's black and green, sick. You like the colors, Ryan, but you bashed 2 things about this thing, and you didn't bash anything about the Houston SaberCats one. So I don't understand how this one ends at 2, but the Houston SaberCats, or this one ends at 1, and Houston SaberCats ends at 2, because you said 2 things that you thought were dumb about this jersey, and nothing about the Houston SaberCats one, except you didn't like black and yellow.
Don't we love ranking qualitative stuff? This is why I'm a commissioner and I like fantasy numbers, because there's a distinct difference in ranking these things. Nonetheless,
Sound
though,
waves through the ocean, Ryan. Those don't even look like
all right,
sound waves.
I will say, overall, looking back on all of it, I think that the league, with their transition to Kappa, the jerseys as a whole, I think are better.
I think the jerseys as a whole are better, yes, and I think the
There's-
shorts are a bit more fun.
The fault there are some teams that falter there, but we've always had
All right.
teams, the MLR, that falter
All right,
a little
Ryan.
bit.
Quit bashing on LA.
Oh, I'm the one that's bashing LA. Yeah, sure. But no, I think this is great. I think having an iconic brand like Kappa, I didn't know how to feel about having the Kappa on the shorts, but again,
Yeah.
it's their look, and they embraced it and they went for it.
And
And you know what? It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be awesome.
outside of a couple jerseys and a couple teams, finally, it looks like the jerseys weren't made out of a generator
That's true.
or a online little shaping tool. It was actually designed with purpose, and I love it. I think the shorts are going to continue to grow on me with the Kappa logos down the side.
hmm
I hope that they look even better on the players. I'm sure some of the big boys are going to look great in these jerseys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be a good little product to see on the field.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So I know that a bunch of our listeners and viewers were waiting for our ranking list. There you go. Seattle number 1, Houston a close second,
So
and we can
dumb.
all agree that the RFCLA
Houston's
ones are
first.
a little bit rough there. But there are some nice ones, man. I love Old Glory DC. Again, I
Yeah.
love a lot of these. So it should be great. really, really super. It just makes me more and more excited for the upcoming season, to what these are going to look like on the field when
And
they do come out in March.
and just as a disclaimer, we've already ranked the Anthem. I think I said this at the start, but the Anthem have already been ranked 12th. Their jerseys will be 12th. Don't get your expectations up. They will be 12th. I just can't. Yeah, what are you gonna do with Anthem
Yeah.
and their logo? Actually, you know what I hope they do?
Music
I hope they
clips.
put that cursive Anthem thing across the chest.
That
I
would
think
be-
none of the teams have put a logo across the chest. I think they should do it.
That would be pretty cool. Look like kind of like a pseudo like baseball jersey. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, just do it.
That'd be cool.
Why not? But yeah, their jersey's gonna suck too.
I don't think they're going to listen to you
Their
after
logo
how much
sucks,
you've
dude.
bashed their branding, but we'll
Their
see.
name
Maybe
sucks,
they
too.
take it. But nonetheless, yeah, there's our rankings of the kits. Again, we're gonna have to try to get our hands on some of these, because I do love some of them. Should be really, really cool. We'll see whether or
Yeah,
not
we'll
we
see.
can-
I have no team to support, so
That's true.
I mean, I never was really supporting one team. But yeah, I guess I'm looking
Maybe.
for a team. Ryan, you're looking for a team too.
I think I'm looking for a team too. I guess so. I know James Dealey did a little bracket for him. He's now
He's a Hounds fan now.
Chicago Hounds fan now after
Unfortunately.
losing his arrows. So we'll see there. But nonetheless, though, maybe I'll just have to rank it based on kit. Maybe I'll just have to get myself a Dallas Jackals jersey or something. We'll see. All right. Well,
You didn't even rank them first.
I don't know. It's different. It's different.
You like trash? Is
What
that
do
why you want
mean?
to cheer for the Jackals?
No, okay, right. We're not getting into that yet. We've reviewed the teams. We're getting close to the season. We'll see where they
Well, we're
rank
gonna
on
get
our
into
season
that,
list.
Ryan. Apparently, it's a MLR. We are 42 days fam, 42 days out
That's
from the
true.
season starting. So we clearly need to start getting into some draft research. I've obviously already started because winners win, but we definitely do need to get into this in the upcoming weeks.
That is true. So that will be all coming down the pipeline. Again, check out on our social media channels. The Google form is out for all of you who want to try out Fantasy MLR in the 2024 season. Just a little bit of information to fill out. You do that, we'll put you on the list. We'll get you in a league, and you should have a lot of fun with Fantasy MLR coming up in 2024. Going to be super exciting
And-
stuff. Again, down below in the description, join that Discord channel. There's a lot to look forward to here in this upcoming.
And those of you who decide that you want to join, like we said, we're going to start doing some analysis going forward about what to start doing to prepare for the draft. You're going to want to stay tuned. You're going to want to get the thoughts from a champion. You're going to want to get the thoughts from, a guy who finished last place or finished 500 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
something like that.
you want to hear some mistakes. You want to hear some things to do, some things to note. It's a new landscape. And it's MLR Fantasy Rugby. It's something completely like you've never experienced before in some ways.
Absolutely. And hey, I'm going to also get my first shot after putting this whole thing together at Teen Crack at Fantasy MLR. Maybe
Jeez,
you'll
good
be
luck, buddy.
in a league against me, so we'll see whether or not. But nonetheless, really fun episode, ranking kits. We'll get more serious when it comes to fantasy circles in the upcoming episodes,
Maybe.
mock drafts, fantasy strategies, draft strategies, all of it coming up in the weeks to come. You won't want to miss it. Again, check out that Google form, and we're excited to get everyone playing Fantasy MLR. For Matt Yee, for myself, Ryan Yee, we'll be back next week with another episode of the Fantasy Ruckers Show.
Andy, you stink.
You've been listening to the Fantasy Ruckers Show, bringing fantasy rugby to the masses, covering everything rugby from the MLR and beyond. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and be sure to tell all your friends. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, connect with us on social media at the Fantasy Ruckers. Till next time, this is the Fantasy Ruckers Show, signing off.